The bright lights of the stadium swept across the crowd as the kiss cam roamed, searching for its next victims. James Wilson, CEO of Stellar Industries, felt his heart stop when the camera landed squarely on him and Sarah, his head of HR. There they were, displayed on the massive screen for 20,000 people to see, and neither of them sitting with their respective spouses. The crowd cheered, oblivious to the real drama unfolding. Sarah's face turned pale, her perfectly manicured fingers trembling as she clutched her designer handbag. James could feel the weight of countless eyes on them, the expectation hanging heavy in the air. In that moment of panic, muscle memory took over. He turned to her, their lips met, and the crowd erupted in applause, not knowing they were witnessing the exposure of a carefully hidden affair. It had all started 18 months ago during a late-night strategy meeting. James had been struggling with the loneliness that came with success. Endless business trips, board meetings, and the constant pressure of running a Fortune 500 company. His wife, Catherine, had grown distant, busy with their 3 children and her own social circles. Their marriage had become a well-choreographed dance of parallel lives. Sarah wasn't what you'd expect from a typical mistress. At 52, she was only 3 years younger than James, with silver streaks in her dark hair that she never bothered to hide. She had her own marriage of 28 years, a comfortable life in the suburbs, and absolutely no intention of becoming involved with her boss. But there was something about those late nights at the office. The way she challenged his ideas, her sharp wit, the intellectual sparring that would leave them both breathless. It started with innocent touches. A hand on a shoulder, fingers brushing while passing documents. The air between them grew thick with unspoken desires. Their first kiss happened in the elevator of all places. A power outage had left them suspended between floors for 45 minutes. In the dim emergency lighting, all their carefully constructed professional boundaries crumbled. Her perfume, a subtle mix of jasmine and something uniquely her, had filled his senses. When their lips met, it felt like coming home to a place he'd never been. They were careful, so careful. Private dining rooms in obscure restaurants, business trips carefully coordinated to overlap, hotel rooms booked under different names. Sarah had a way of making him feel seen, not as the CEO, not as the husband and father, but as just James, the man who still had dreams and fears. The affair evolved into something neither of them had expected. They would spend hours talking about everything and nothing. She would listen to his concerns about his teenage daughter's rebellion, and he would hold her when she cried about her own empty nest. It wasn't just about the physical intimacy. It was about finding connection in a world that had become increasingly disconnected. But now, as the kiss cam moved on to another couple, reality came crashing down. In the crowd, James spotted Frank Thompson, a board member, his mouth agape in recognition. Several rows down, Susan from accounting was already typing furiously on her phone. By tomorrow morning, their secret would be splashed across social media, their carefully constructed lives shattered like fine china on concrete. The drive home that night was silent. Sarah had left immediately after the kiss, claiming a headache. James sat in his car in the stadium parking lot for what felt like hours, watching families stream out, children wearing team jerseys, couples holding hands, all the normal lives he had just destroyed. His phone buzzed continuously, first with messages from Catherine, then from his children, then from board members. The carefully compartmentalized worlds he had built were colliding spectacularly. He thought about the morning meetings he would have to face, the disappointed looks from his children, the inevitable divorce proceedings. The irony wasn't lost on him, how a moment meant to celebrate love had exposed its messiest form. As he finally started his car, he couldn't help but wonder if the thrill of forbidden romance had been worth the price of destroying 2 families, a career, and a reputation built over decades. The stadium lights dimmed behind him as he drove home, where Catherine would be waiting. He thought about Sarah, probably facing her own reckoning with her husband. They had both known this day might come, but neither had been prepared for how public, how sudden, and how complete their exposure would be. Tomorrow there would be consequences. Tomorrow there would be lawyers and meetings and tears. But tonight, as he drove through the city streets, James Wilson, CEO of Stellar Industries, was just another man who had learned the hard way that some kisses cost everything.